Close your eyes and breathe. Not to escape the world, but to enter the only world that truly matters, the world within. You've been told to chase, to work harder, to wait. But the truth has never been outside of you. The truth is this: you already have it. You must dare to live in the end, to feel right now as though everything you desire is done. Imagine walking through your dream home, opening your dream bank account, speaking with confidence because you know, not hope, know that it is yours. The world will ask you for proof, but you are not moved by the world. You move the world. And you do it with your assumption, you do it with your inner speech, you do it by embodying the end now. Do not wait, do not beg, do not wonder how. These are distractions of the senses. Stay faithful to the unseen. Your assumption, once persisted in, must harden into fact. There is no other way. You were not meant to struggle for scraps. You were meant to remember. Remember who you are. Remember that consciousness is the only reality. You are not a beggar asking for favor. You are a creator calling forth what has always been yours. Let the poor version of you die. Let the worried version be buried. Step into the image of the one who already received. Smile like them, think like them, walk like them, because you are them. The money you seek is not in the future, it is now, locked in a state you have not yet dared to occupy. So occupy it. Not with doubt, not with fear, but with certainty, with peace. Say to yourself, it is done. I am already there, because the moment you assume the end, everything in creation bows to make it so. Live in the end. Dwell in the feeling of wealth. The millions are already yours. Accept it. Feel it. Be it. And watch the world rearrange itself for you. What you dare to imagine is already true becomes the seed of your reality. Everything you see, touch, and experience in your physical world is merely a shadow cast by the light of your inner assumptions. If you can truly see something in your mind and feel it to be real in your heart, you have already planted the seed for its arrival. That feeling, that knowing, is the beginning of its manifestation. You must begin to understand that the end is not some distant place you work your way toward. The end is a state, a feeling that you step into with your imagination. It's a mental home you decide to live in long before the outer world reflects it. You are not waiting for the millions to appear in your bank account to feel secure, free, or abundant. You feel that way now, and the world follows your lead. When you live in the end, you live from the place where the desire has already been fulfilled. You speak as if it's already done. You think like someone who already has it. You make choices from a place of possession, not lack. And when you do that consistently with emotional conviction and quiet confidence, you shift your identity. There is no power in wishing. There is no transformation in trying. But there is creative force in assuming. When you assume the wish fulfilled, when you boldly claim it as yours, you collapse time. The gap between what you want and what you have begins to dissolve because you're no longer separate from it. You've merged with it in consciousness. That's the key. Think of the seed. You don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust the process. You water it with belief. You give it sunlight through emotion. You protect it from doubt and fear. Your inner world must be treated the same. You must protect your mental seed, your assumption of the end, from any story or voice that says not yet or not for me. You are not convincing the world of your worthiness. You are convincing yourself. You are not proving anything to anyone else. You are simply remembering your power to claim and create. Once you truly accept the end as real, your work is not to go out and hustle, but to remain loyal to that end. Loyalty to the end state is the true discipline. That's faith, not blind hope, but inner certainty. Even if nothing changes on the outside immediately, you must hold fast to the end. If the bank balance looks the same, if your circumstances still scream lack, you do not react, you respond with silence. You respond by going inward and saying, I know who I am, I know what I've accepted, and I will live from that end until the outer world has no choice but to conform. The millions are already yours, not because someone will give them to you, but because you've claimed them within. The end is already done. The moment you see it, feel it, and live from it, you've entered the timeline where it must appear. That is the truth few understand. The end is not the destination. It is the origin. The beginning of all creation starts where you dare to mentally live. Live there and stay there. Your inner world is not a fantasy. It is the foundation upon which everything in your external life is built. It is not a place you escape to. It is the place you create from. The world you see around you is nothing more than a reflection of what you've accepted within yourself. Imagination is not just for children or artists. It is the sacred faculty through which we shape reality. When you understand this, you stop looking at your current circumstances as permanent. You realize they are just the residue of past assumptions. And if you want to change your life, you must first change your inner script. The path to wealth is not paved by effort alone. It is carved through consciousness. When you imagine yourself wealthy, and not just lightly wish for it, but deeply assume it, you begin to build a bridge from where you are to where you belong. This bridge is invisible at first. It is built through your thoughts, your self-talk, your feelings, and the scenes you replay in your mind when no one is watching. Every moment you spend dwelling in the assumption of abundance, you are taking a step across that bridge. You are drawing the unseen into form. Many make the mistake of treating imagination as something separate from real life. But everything real began first as an idea, as a vision, as a state of mind. The phone in your hand, the car you drive, the home you live in, they all began in someone's imagination. You must understand that what you imagine with belief is more real than what you see without it. Imagination is not the escape, it is the access point to creation. The moment you assume wealth as your truth, not just desire it, but claim it, you activate a path. It may not reveal itself all at once, but it begins to unfold in ways your rational mind cannot predict. New ideas come to you, opportunities arise, people appear. But all of it is rooted in the original inner assumption. Without that, nothing external can last. That's why many who gain money without changing their self-concept quickly lose it. They never truly imagined themselves as wealthy. They only visited the state. You must live in it. Imagination must be persistent. A few moments here and there will not build a bridge. You must live in that state daily. In quiet moments, in busy moments, in times of fear, you must return to the inner image of the life you are creating. See it clearly, feel it deeply, assume it fully. That is how the bridge becomes visible. That is how the path reveals itself. You are not born to follow someone else's path, you are born to create your own. And imagination is the tool. If you want millions, see yourself as someone who already has them. Don't wait for the world to give you permission. Your assumption is the permission. Your inner world is the blueprint, and you are the architect. Build something worthy, build something aligned with who you truly are. And never forget, every great thing you will ever accomplish begins not in effort, but in imagination. Emotion is the power behind manifestation. Thought alone can conceive the idea, but it is feeling that brings it to life. When you merely think of something you want, it stays abstract, far away and separate from you. But the moment you begin to feel it, truly feel the joy, relief, and satisfaction of already having it, you bring that desire into alignment with your inner self. That's when the transformation begins. Because in the realm of creation, feeling is the secret ingredient. Desire is not fulfilled by force. It's fulfilled by assuming the feeling of the wish already accomplished. That means you don't wait for the outer world to give you permission to feel wealthy, loved, or successful. You choose the feeling now before the evidence shows up. Why? Because feeling is not a reaction. It is a signal. And when you signal that something is already yours emotionally, the universe must respond accordingly. That is how your inner state governs your outer experience. The world reflects not what you want, but what you feel to be true. That's why so many chase their desires but never reach them. They think about them constantly but feel unworthy, anxious, or doubtful. Their dominant emotion contradicts their imagined goal. You must reverse this. You must feel as if it is already yours. You must embody the joy, the peace, the power that would naturally flow through you if your dream were fulfilled right now. And here's the beautiful secret. You already know how to do this. Think of a memory that makes you smile. Just remembering it can shift your entire mood. That proves you have the power to bring an emotional state into the present, even if the moment is not physically happening now. That same power applies to your desires. Feel the thrill of the first deposit hitting your account. Imagine the pride of knowing you created it. Sense the calm that comes from absolute financial security. When those emotions become real within you, even for a few minutes a day, you begin to call forth the future you. Don't be discouraged if the outer world doesn't change right away. That is only the echo of your past state. Your job is not to react to what is. It is to remain loyal to what you have already claimed inside. Emotions are energy. The more often you return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the more your state becomes permanent. And a permanent state must manifest in form. This is why imagination without emotion lacks power. You cannot casually daydream your way into a new life. You must engage the heart. Let the vision stir something inside you. Let it move you to tears. Let it excite you, calm you, heal you. The more real it feels within, the sooner it appears without. Remember, the version of you who already has what you want is not waiting for it. They are living in gratitude, joy, and peace. Align with that version. Feel what they feel. Let those feelings become your new normal. Because once your emotional state shifts, your reality has no choice but to follow. Emotion seals the desire. Feeling is the fire. And once it is lit, nothing can stop its unfolding. One of the greatest secrets to creating your desired reality is this: ignore the middle. Most people get caught in the trap of asking how. How will it happen? How will the money come? How will the right people show up? How will the circumstances shift? But the truth is, the how is never your job. Your only task is to assume the end, to dwell in the state where your desire is already fulfilled. Everything in between, the middle, is orchestrated by forces far beyond your logical understanding. The moment you ask how, you shift out of faith and into doubt. You begin to question, analyze, and micromanage the universe. But you are not meant to build a bridge, you are meant to walk it. And that bridge appears only when you remain loyal to the end result. Think of the end as a destination you've already arrived at in your mind. You live from that place, you feel from that place, you think, speak, and move from that place. When that becomes your inner reality, life must mirror it. If you plant a seed, you do not dig it up each day to see how it's growing. You trust the process. The same principle applies to manifestation. Once you've impressed the end upon your subconscious, once you've emotionally accepted it, you must let go of the mechanics. You must give the unseen the space to work. The moment you obsess over timing, methods, or specific people, you interfere with the process. You introduce resistance, and resistance delays the result. When you truly dwell in the end, the middle begins to take care of itself. People, events, conversations, ideas, they all begin to rearrange in perfect sequence. What appears to be coincidence is actually the outpicturing of your assumed reality. But this movement only begins when your inner state is fixed. You don't need to see how it's working. You only need to remain unwavering in the knowing that it is working. This is not about passivity. It's about spiritual confidence. You still take action, but it is inspired action. It's not forced, frantic, or desperate. It flows from the state you're in. And when you're in the state of already having, your actions carry power. They are guided, supported, and divinely timed. That kind of action feels effortless because it is aligned. The middle will often look messy. It may even seem like things are going in the opposite direction. But that is not your cue to panic. It is your cue to deepen your faith. When you react to the middle, you reinforce the old state. But when you ignore the noise and return to the feeling of the end, you stay aligned with your true path. Think of your desire as already done. See it, feel it, live from it. Let that be your dominant truth. And whenever your mind drifts to the how, gently bring it back to the end. Say to yourself, that is not my concern. My work is already done. Reality reshapes itself around your assumption. And the more you dwell in the end, the faster the middle rearranges to bring it into view. So stay there, feel it now, trust that the middle is moving even when you cannot see it, because it always is. Persistence is the true test of belief. Anyone can hold a vision for a moment, feel abundance for a few minutes, or imagine success when everything is going well. But the real power lies in your ability to persist, especially when the outer world shows no signs of change. When lack, delay, or resistance appear, it's not a signal to give up. It's an invitation to go deeper within and strengthen your assumption. In truth, you are, because what you hold in consciousness, consistently, faithfully, and without compromise, must outpicture itself in the world. The outer world is always a delayed reflection. It echoes back to you the state you've lived in. So when you begin to change your inner state, when you start imagining wealth, feeling secure, and assuming success, it might take time for reality to catch up. During this time, the greatest temptation is to look around and say, nothing's working. But the moment you do that, you shift back to the old state, the one you're trying to transcend. You must remember, the truth is not what you see, the truth is what you've accepted within. Sight is deceptive when you are in transition. It will show you remnants of your past thoughts and emotions, not your current assumption. That's why you must persist even when it seems foolish. You must ignore appearances, deny the evidence of the senses, and boldly declare that your desire is already yours. Persistence is not about repetition alone. It's about unwavering identity. You don't just repeat affirmations, you become the person who already has what they want. You walk like them, talk like them, think like them, and most importantly, feel like them. When you do this long enough, the outer world must conform. It has no choice. The law is absolute. What you consistently assume and embody within must be expressed without. The challenge is not the absence of results, it's the presence of doubt. Doubt creeps in when time passes, when circumstances worsen, when logic tries to take control. But your job is not to argue with doubt or prove anything to it. Your job is to continue in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let others question, let circumstances shift, let noise rise, but stay firm in the knowing that your inner world is the cause and the outer is merely the effect. This is the persistence that moves mountains. Not physical effort, but mental loyalty. Loyalty to your vision, to your assumption, to your chosen reality, even when there is no evidence, no confirmation, no progress. You persist. because you understand that reality always lags behind consciousness, and the longer you hold a new state, the more pressure you apply to the old reality, until it finally breaks and gives way to the new. You are not hoping, you are not wishing, you are knowing. And that knowing, when held with feeling and certainty, will rearrange the very fabric of your world. So stand firm, don't waver, remain unmoved by appearances. Persist in the end, persist in the inner truth, because what you persist in feeling must become what you eventually see. That is the law. Reality doesn't respond to what you wish for, it responds to who you are being. This is the greatest shift a person can make, moving from hoping to embodying. Your life is not shaped by your desires alone, but by the identity you occupy. If you want to change your world, you must first change how you see yourself, because reality is a mirror. It does not show you what you want, it reflects what you are. You can say all the affirmations you want, but if deep down you still see yourself as broke, struggling, or undeserving, your world will mirror that identity back to you. On the other hand, if you adopt the self-imagination of someone who is already wealthy, if you think like them, feel like them, and move like them, then your reality must shift to match it. It's not magic, it's law. This is not about pretending or putting on a show for others. It's about embodying a truth within yourself so deeply that it becomes second nature. You are not trying to become someone else. You're stepping into the version of you that already exists in potential. That version is wealthy, confident, generous, calm, and secure. And the only thing separating you from that version is your current self-image. Your inner identity is the thermostat of your life. It sets the limit on what you allow yourself to receive. You may want millions, but if your identity is still shaped by scarcity, you'll sabotage the very opportunities that could lead you to wealth. That's why changing your identity is the most powerful thing you can do. The moment you decide, this is who I am now, you begin to attract everything that aligns with that decision. This doesn't mean forcing or faking, it means choosing. Every day you choose who you are. You choose how you feel. You choose what thoughts you nurture. And every one of those choices builds or reinforces your identity. The key is consistency. You cannot declare yourself wealthy for 5 minutes and then spend the rest of the day worrying about bills. You must remain faithful to the identity you've chosen, even when the outer world gives you no reason to. Think of your identity as the script you live by. If you keep reading the old script, the one that says you're behind, unlucky, or limited, your life will continue to play out accordingly. But the moment you write a new script and live by it, everything changes. And it starts by seeing yourself differently. Look in the mirror and see the version of you who already has what you desire. Speak as them, dress as them, think as them, feel as them. Do not wait for the evidence. The evidence comes after the identity is solidified, not before. Your job is not to force change, it's to become the change. Reality simply follows. That's how it works. Reality is obedient, but it obeys your dominant state, not your occasional wish. So hold the identity, live from it, trust it, and soon you'll see that your world has no choice but to reflect the truth you've embodied all along. You are not here to chase wealth, but to awaken to it. The millions you desire are not in the distance, they are within, waiting for you to claim them. You do not manifest by force or desperation, but by living in the end, creating through imagination, feeling the reality of your desires, ignoring the how, persisting despite what you see, and stepping fully into the identity of the one who already has it all. When you master these inner laws, the outer world will bend to reflect your truth. You are never lacking, only waiting to remember your power. Thank you for listening. Stay faithful to the vision, stay loyal to the end, and remember, it's already yours. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine, not a distant hope, not a someday fantasy, but now, imagine, just for this breath, that you are already living the life you desire. The millions are already yours. You are not asking, you are not begging, you are not chasing, you are being. You walk into a room, not with desperation, but with quiet certainty. The kind of certainty that wealth brings, not just in the bank, but in the soul. You carry yourself differently. Your choices shift. Your energy speaks before you do. You no longer wonder if the money will come, you know it already has, and from that knowing, you act. You no longer hoard your faith for later. You spend it now, lavishly. You speak with authority, move with confidence, and rest in assurance. Not because you saw the evidence, but because you created it. You see, the world responds not to your effort, but to your assumption. What you assume to be true within yourself becomes the foundation of your reality. Assume wealth, and the world must clothe itself in richness to match your state. Assume lack, and even gold will wither in your hands. Your world is your mirror, and that mirror never lies. So start small if you must. Choose your thoughts like you would choose a tailored suit. Speak to yourself like a millionaire would. Feel what it would feel like to have no financial worry. Not for a second, but for a lifestyle. Make wealth a permanent resident in your imagination. And don't wait to feel good when it arrives. Feel good now, because it has arrived. Inwardly. The outer world is simply catching up. Let your days be filled with the richness of gratitude, the calm of confidence, and the strength of unshakable knowing. Walk in faith, not by sight, and watch the money, the opportunities, the miracles come to you like rivers returning to the ocean. Live as if you already have millions, and see what happens. The result will not just surprise you, they will obey you. Every great transformation in life begins not with the world outside of you, but with the world within. The truth is simple yet profound. Your imagination is the blueprint of your reality. It is the silent architect of your experiences, shaping your world moment by moment, whether you are aware of it or not. It is not just some fanciful tool reserved for children or creatives. It is the divine instrument by which your entire life is formed. You are always imagining something. Even now, as you read these words, your mind is forming images, emotions, stories, impressions of what could be. Most people imagine unconsciously, reacting to what they see, what they hear, what they fear. But there is a power in conscious imagination that surpasses anything action alone could ever achieve. What you consistently imagine yourself to be, you will inevitably become. That is law. Consider the inner conversations you have every day. The quiet whispers of, "I'm not ready," "It's too late," "I don't have enough," or "I always struggle." These statements are not harmless. They are seeds planted in the soil of your subconscious. And what you plant must grow. So if you continue imagining yourself as someone who lacks, who waits, who chases, who suffers, the world will conform to that version of you because it has no choice. It is your servant. It simply reflects the image you hold within. The secret is that nothing changes outwardly until it is first changed inwardly. People try to change their circumstances with force, effort, and hustle. But the outer world is simply a mirror. You cannot change the reflection without changing the image it reflects. If you want a new reality, you must draw a new blueprint. And that blueprint is imagination. Let's say you want wealth. Don't imagine the idea of being wealthy someday. Imagine yourself now, wealthy, free, relaxed. How do you dress? What do you feel as you wake up in the morning? What kind of choices do you make from this new state? Most importantly, how does your self-talk change? Your task is to embody that state so vividly, so naturally, that your subconscious begins to accept it as real. Because once it does, your life must change to match. Imagination, when used persistently and faithfully, will override logic, time, and circumstance. This is not delusion, it is creation. Your assumptions, no matter how subtle, hold the blueprint. Even if you are surrounded by limitations now, your imagination can free you instantly. Not because the world changes overnight, but because your perception shifts. And once you see yourself differently, you cannot act the same. Now you move differently, you speak with a new energy, and the world, as it always does, bends to follow. This is why it is said that you do not get what you want, you get what you are. And what you are is nothing more than the sum of your most dominant assumptions and imaginations. If you want to know what you've been imagining, look at your life. Your current world is the evidence of your past thoughts, beliefs, and emotional states. If you don't like it, you don't have to fight it. Just go within and imagine something better, something true to your heart. Every moment you are choosing a version of yourself to embody. Choose wisely. Choose the one that already has what you desire. Talk to yourself as that version. Walk as that version. Think from that version, not about it, from it. When you consistently dwell in that inner state, the world must follow. It has no will of its own. It only reflects what you imagine to be true. So do not underestimate the power of your inner world. Treat your imagination with reverence. Nurture it, guard it, live from it. Because what you imagine, you become. Everything you are experiencing right now, the circumstances, the people, the finances, the opportunities, or the lack of them, is not a reflection of who you are in this moment. It is a reflection of who you used to believe yourself to be. Reality does not operate on instant reaction. It unfolds with a delay. Like the echo of a voice in a canyon, your life today is the reverberation of thoughts, assumptions, and emotions you held yesterday, last week, last year. You are living in a world that was shaped by your old beliefs. Most people look at their present conditions and assume they are permanent or inevitable. They make conclusions like, this is just how life is, or some people are lucky and some aren't. But what they fail to realize is that the very act of accepting those ideas as true is what caused the condition to harden into fact. The outside world is always a delayed response to the inner world. Your beliefs are not passive thoughts floating in your mind. They are energetic commands, creating structure out of potential, giving form to what was formless. So when you look around and see lack, difficulty, or stagnation, understand that you are not being punished and you are not broken. You are simply witnessing the residue of former beliefs that were once accepted, repeated, and emotionally charged. Whether it was told to you by others, absorbed through experiences, or self-created through fear and doubt, it doesn't matter. If you accepted it as true, even unconsciously, it began to take shape in your world. But here's the empowering truth. If your current reality is the result of old beliefs, then new beliefs will create a new reality. You are never stuck. You are never finished. You are only ever living out the scenes created by the last script you handed over to your subconscious. And you can rewrite the script right now. The process begins with awareness. You must first notice what you have been believing. What stories have you been telling yourself about money, love, success, or worth? What identities have you assumed? The struggler, the unlucky one, the overlooked, the one who never gets chosen. These are not facts, they are beliefs, and every belief is subject to change. You don't need to fight your current reality or struggle against it. You simply need to rise above it in consciousness. begin to assume something new. If you want wealth, begin to believe that abundance is natural, easy, and flowing. If you want love, begin to believe that you are worthy of deep, lasting connection. If you want success, believe that your presence is valuable, that your steps are guided, and that life favors you. You create these new beliefs are not empty affirmations, they are seeds. And just like any seed, they take time to grow, but grow they must if you persist. As you change your inner assumptions, the outer world must realign. People will change how they treat you, opportunities will arise, circumstances will bend to your new state. Why? Because your belief is the instruction and reality obeys. It may not happen instantly, but it will happen inevitably. The world cannot resist the force of a belief held with conviction and repeated with emotion. That is the real secret. Feel it as true now and give no attention to the illusion of delay. The shadow always trails the object. Your world will catch up. So do not be discouraged by what you see today. It is old news. If you want something new, believe something new. Your current reality is not your destiny. It is only your echo. Shift the cause within, and the effect will surely follow. The true secret of creating the life you desire does not begin with effort, action, or waiting for signs in the external world. It begins in the unseen, silent chamber of your own consciousness, in feeling. The world is not moved by your wish, your want, or your effort. It is moved by your feeling. When you live from the inner experience of already having what you desire, whether it be wealth, freedom, love, or peace, the outer world must take shape to reflect that internal state. This is not philosophy, it is law. Most people are taught to wait for the evidence before they celebrate. They wait for money to feel abundant, for a relationship to feel loved, for the job to feel valuable, but that order is reversed. You do not feel abundance because the money arrives. The money arrives because you dwell in the feeling of abundance. You do not feel loved because someone chooses you. Someone chooses you because you radiate the feeling of already being loved. Feeling is the key to the subconscious, and the subconscious is what creates reality. It does not reason. It does not question. It simply accepts the feelings you consistently live in and then begins to mold your life accordingly. So if you want change, you must first enter the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not someday, not in the future, but now, as though it were already true. Think of this inner feeling as a magnetic field. It attracts to you the people, the events, the ideas, and the resources that match it. If you feel poor, worried, or frustrated, no matter what you say or do, the world will reflect that vibration. You may struggle, push, or even get temporary results, but they will collapse because your emotional baseline was not in harmony with the result. But when you align with the emotion of the end result, everything begins to shift, and it happens without strain. To feel it first means you bypass logic. You do not ask, how will it happen, or when will it come? You step into the inner scene with full acceptance as though it were happening now. You imagine yourself living the result, seeing through your own eyes, hearing with your own ears, touching with your own hands. You bring the senses into the scene and generate the emotion that matches the desire. And once that feeling is real within you, once it becomes natural and familiar, it begins to externalize. You may receive a phone call, meet someone by chance, stumble across an idea, or make a spontaneous decision, all leading to the result you first felt. That's how the universe works. It follows your inner state, not your outer effort. But you must remain faithful. Doubt is the assassin of manifestation. If you keep checking the world to see if it's working, you pull yourself out of the state. You go back into lack, and the mirror reflects that. The mirror never lies, but it also never moves first. You must feel it real before it becomes real. This is the art of creation. It is not about faking it. It is about dwelling in the truth of your desired state until it becomes your identity. When you feel peace before the storm calms, the storm fades. When you feel wealth while the bank account is empty, the funds begin to flow. When you feel loved without needing proof, love arrives. Feeling it first is not pretending, it is choosing. You are choosing to align with a deeper reality, a higher version of yourself that already exists. And once you make that inner alignment, the world has no choice but to reflect it. The outer follows the inner, always. So begin now. Enter the feeling of your fulfilled desire, not with strain, but with joy, not with waiting, but with certainty. Because the moment you feel it, you have set creation in motion. The rest is simply the unfolding of what is already done. Whether you realize it or not, you are manifesting every second of your life. It is not something you start and stop. It is not a special practice reserved for quiet moments or vision boards. Manifestation is constant. It is the very nature of being conscious. Every thought you allow, every emotion you nurture, every belief you hold, these are the building blocks of your external reality. You are always creating, always selecting states of consciousness that shape the world around you. What you focus on internally becomes your experience externally. Not because life is rewarding or punishing you, but because it is neutral, it simply reflects the state you most often occupy. If you live in a mindset of waiting, of one day, or maybe someday, then you remain in a loop of delay. You are not just experiencing lack, you are perpetuating it, energizing it, keeping it alive by your attention. The state you dwell in determines what the world must mirror back. This is why some people, despite hard work and talent, seem to go in circles. Not because they aren't capable, but because inwardly they still identify with struggle, with being overlooked, with barely getting by. Their efforts are real, but the state they manifest from keeps recreating the same outcomes. It isn't the action that creates, it's the consciousness behind the action. Now consider this, you can choose a different state at any moment. You can begin right now to dwell in abundance, ease, and wholeness, not as a fantasy, but as a reality felt internally. And the moment you shift your inner atmosphere, the outer world must follow. It might not happen in an instant, but it will happen, because the state you live in becomes the filter through which all of life responds. Manifestation is not magic, it is law. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. And what you are is defined by the state you accept as true. If you walk through your day identifying with lack, you vibrate with it, you notice what you don't have, you compare, you complain, you wait for change, and in doing so you delay it. But if you walk through the same day identifying with abundance, your perception shifts. You notice opportunities, you radiate confidence, you move with a calm expectation, and life starts arranging itself around your energy. You don't have to force this process, you only need to become aware of where your consciousness is dwelling. Are you thinking from your desire or about it? Are you embodying the energy of someone who has or someone who hopes? Hope can be deceptive. It seems positive, but it often hides the vibration of doubt. Faith, on the other hand, is alive. It assumes the desire is already fulfilled. To manifest consciously is to wake up to your creative power, is to stop living on autopilot, reacting to circumstances and waiting for proof before believing. It's realizing that the state you choose is more powerful than the facts you face. Facts can change, circumstances can shift, but the state, the inner vibration, that's what causes movement. When you dwell in abundance, abundance must come, not always through the channel you expect, but in ways that match the energy you send out. New doors open, old blocks dissolve, people appear, ideas spark. Because your energy is no longer saying, I need, but I already am. So the question is never, am I manifesting? The real question is, what am I manifesting and from what state? Choose consciously. Assume wisely. Because every moment you are shaping your world. Whether you do it by default or by design, that is your decision. In a world that constantly glorifies effort, hustle, and struggle, it may sound radical to say that assumption is more powerful than effort. Yet this is one of the greatest truths about reality. It's not how hard you work that determines what you receive. It's how completely and naturally you assume the state of already having it. The outer world responds not to your effort, but to your conviction. The one who assumes the end with confidence and persistency will always surpass the one who tries to force it through endless effort alone. This isn't to say that action has no place. Action will come. But it comes naturally, as an outflow of the state you've assumed. When you believe that you are already the person who has what they desire, you behave in ways that align with that belief. You make decisions from a place of knowing, not hoping. You speak differently, carry yourself differently, and engage with the world differently, not because you are trying to make it happen, but because you've already accepted that it is done. Assumption is a quiet inner decision. It's the unseen agreement between you and your vision. It says, "This is who I am now." And once you declare that inwardly, the outer world must eventually catch up. Circumstances will bend, people will shift, resources will be drawn in, not because you chased them, but because you magnetize them through identity. Think of it like this. The world is a mirror, but the mirror cannot reflect anything unless there is an image to reflect. Your assumption is the image. If you continue to assume lack, struggle, or waiting, that is what the mirror will faithfully return. But if you hold fast to the image of fulfillment, if you persist in assuming that your desire is already yours, the mirror must eventually reflect that reality. Many people make the mistake of trying to manifest by willpower and action alone. They chase, hustle, beg, and overthink. But all this effort, if it comes from a place of not having, only reinforces the state of lack. They're trying to get something because they believe they don't yet have it. And that belief blocks the very thing they seek. The key is to act from the belief that it is already done. This is not arrogance or fantasy. It's alignment. Assume the state of your wish fulfilled. Don't wait for evidence. Don't look to the outer world for permission. Become internally anchored in the feeling that it is already true. Let it become your emotional home. Walk as that person, think as that person, sleep as that person, speak as that person, and persist even when nothing seems to be happening. Because assumption works beneath the surface. The moment you assume something new, the universe begins to rearrange, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically, but always with precision. The right people, opportunities, and ideas begin moving toward you. Not because you forced them, but because your new state made them inevitable. This is how the law operates. The world moves not by brute force, but by vibration. And your assumption is your vibration. It broadcasts what you believe to be true, and reality simply follows your lead. So release the stress of trying harder. Instead, focus on assuming better. Get clear about what you desire and then ask yourself, what would it feel like if I already had it? Live from that answer. Let that feeling guide your actions, inform your words, and fuel your imagination. Trust the unseen process, and don't look for signs of progress. Your assumption is the cause, the world is the effect. Persist in the assumption, let it grow roots, and watch. As the means, the people, the resources, and the right timing unfold effortlessly, not because you chased the dream, but because you became it. There is a hidden doorway that leads directly to the life you desire. It's not outside you and it's not locked. In fact, it has always been open, but it opens inward. That door is entered by the way you live internally. The secret is to begin living as if what you desire is already yours, not in pretense, not in forced visualization, but in a sincere inner knowing that who you want to be and what you want to have already exists within you and is expressing itself now. When you act, speak, and think from the version of yourself who already has millions, or peace, or love, or freedom, you establish an energetic agreement with that future. You are no longer reaching for it, chasing it, or waiting for permission. You have aligned yourself with it. You have claimed it as your present reality, and the universe responds to that claim with precision and order. This concept confuses many people because we are trained to respond to what we see, to base our actions on what is real. But here is the deeper truth. What you currently see is simply a reflection of the past. Past beliefs, past emotions, past states of being. If you want a new reality, you must not wait for the mirror to change first. You must change the image within. And the way you do that is by embodying the state of already having your desire. Living as if does not mean faking or pretending. It means assuming the emotional tone, the thoughts, the behaviors, and the choices of someone who is already where you want to be. If you had millions right now, how would you feel? How would you walk into a room? What would your energy be like? Would you speak differently? Would you hold back your joy? Would you apologize for your presence? Of course not. You would be grounded, generous, expansive, and completely certain of your worth. That version of you already exists within you. It's just waiting to be claimed. You don't need to see the money first to feel like a wealthy person. You feel like a wealthy person first, and then the money begins to appear. It's not about the outer symbols of success. It's about becoming aligned with the vibration of that success before it becomes visible. And when you do, the world will begin to arrange itself to match your new internal standard. This is not fantasy, this is creation. It is spiritual law. Your inner state is always being projected onto the screen of the world. If you continue to think from lack, fear, or waiting, the world will mirror that back to you. But if you move into the feeling of already being the person who has, who is, who knows, then the world must conform, not because you're forcing it, but because you've stepped through the door. And that door is invisible. It is internal. No one can open it for you. It doesn't swing outward with effort. It opens inward with identity. The moment you stop looking outside for proof and begin to live from the end, you begin to walk in the power of your future, and the future rushes to meet you. This way of being is powerful because it removes the need to chase. You are no longer hoping for your dream, you are being it. You are no longer striving for success, you are embodying it. And as you consistently live as if it's already done, your actions become aligned, your words become magnetic, and your energy becomes undeniable. So let the world reflect what you've already decided within. Don't knock on the door hoping someone will open it. Realize that you are the one who holds the key. And the key is your inner state. Live as if your millions are already yours, and you'll discover the door was never locked. It only waited for you to walk through. When you live from the end, when you think, speak, and feel as though your desire is already fulfilled, you align yourself with the highest creative force in existence. You no longer chase, you no longer doubt, you become. And from that state, everything you need flows to you naturally, without strain or force. Remember, the world does not respond to your effort. It responds to your assumption. Shift your state, and the entire world must shift with you. Live as if your millions are already yours, and soon they will no longer be a dream, they will be your reality. Say thanks. Thank you for listening, for believing, and most of all, for choosing to step into the powerful creator that you truly are. Everything you seek is already within. Now, go live it, boldly, fully, and as if it's already done. There is a version of you beyond fear, beyond waiting, beyond lack, who already lives in luxury, ease, and divine abundance. This isn't wishful thinking, it is remembrance. You were not born to struggle, to toil endlessly for scraps of freedom. You were born wealthy in consciousness. And when you reclaim that inner wealth, the world must mirror it. You see, the mansion, the freedom, the flowing bank accounts, these are all shadows cast by a powerful light. Your imagination. Do not wait for evidence. Do not seek signs. Become the sign. Feel it now. What does it feel like to be wealthy? Not someday, but now. Not in a distant future, but in this very breath. Feel the silk of success wrapping around your soul. Walk in the still confidence of a person who no longer needs to prove themselves. You no longer ask for money, you expect it. You no longer pray from lack, you thank from fulfillment. The great secret is not to get, but to be. To be the one who has already received. The world responds not to effort, but to identity. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you are. So what are you being today? Are you being scarcity? Are you rehearsing failure in your mind, clothing yourself in doubt? Then that shall be your harvest. But the moment you clothe yourself in the consciousness of the millionaire and remain faithful to that state, all things must bend to it. Don't concern yourself with how. The universe doesn't need your help figuring out the method. Your only duty is to assume the end and live from it. Make no room for someday. Make no space for waiting. This is not about becoming, it is about being. Dwell in the state of the fulfilled desire. Refuse to move from it. And the world, though slow to your eyes, will eventually rise and reflect the wealth you've claimed within. Live as the millionaire you are, not because of what's in your bank account, but because of what's in your imagination. And the world will follow. Because it must. Before the world ever told you who you were supposed to be, before it placed labels upon you, poor, average, limited, you were already rich in spirit. Your very essence, your true identity, was born out of abundance. Not the kind that chases wealth, but the kind that knows wealth is a natural extension of being. There was no concept of lack, no concept of struggle. These are teachings that came later, taught to you by a world asleep to its own power. You were not created to earn your worth. You are worthy. You were not placed on this earth to strive endlessly for what you already possess within. The desire for more, for greater freedom, beauty, ease, and expansion, this desire is not greedy, it is divine. It is memory rising to the surface, whispering, you were made for more because you already are more. But somewhere along the path you forgot. You learned to shrink. You began to believe that abundance was earned through suffering, that only the few were chosen, and that perhaps wealth was not meant for you. Yet even in your doubt, even in your lowest moment, something within you still stirred, a flicker of truth that refuses to be silenced. That flicker is the memory of who you truly are. You see, the millionaire within you is not some version you must fight to become. It is the version you must awaken to again. It's not a dream you're reaching for. It's a homecoming to what already exists inside you. This version of you does not beg. It does not chase. It simply knows. It breathes with ease. It walks with certainty. It gives without fear and receives without guilt. The problem is not your desire for wealth. The problem is your belief that it's separate from you, that it lies far ahead in a future you haven't earned. But in truth, you are not here to earn abundance, you are here to reveal it. And the moment you stop arguing for your limitations and start remembering your spiritual inheritance, everything begins to shift. You begin to speak differently, not from need, but from authority. You no longer ask, will I ever have it? Instead, you say, it is mine now. You don't wait for external evidence to confirm your worth. You move, dress, speak, and choose as one who already has, because you do. This world will reflect your assumption. It has no choice. It is obedient to the image you hold of yourself in the silence of your mind. When you return to the self that was never afraid, never small, never in doubt, you return to power. Not the kind that controls, but the kind that creates. So let go of the struggle. Let go of the lies you were taught about what you must do to deserve more. You were born rich in spirit. That was your original truth. Your job is not to become a millionaire. It is to remember that you already are. Abundance was never outside of you. It was always within, waiting patiently for you to see it again. And once you do, the world must rearrange itself to match the truth you've claimed. The wealth you seek is not somewhere out there waiting to be found. It already exists in the unseen, in the invisible workshop of your mind. Imagination is not idle daydreaming. It is the sacred blueprint of your future. Every fortune, every mansion, every success story began not with action, but with vision. And not just any vision. A felt vision. A vision so alive, so saturated with belief that it could no longer remain hidden. You were given imagination not as an escape from reality, but as the power to create it. It is through imagination that we rewrite the story the world insists we must live. You do not need to wait for the world to give you permission. You only need to close your eyes, turn inward, and construct with feeling. The mind does not know the difference between what is imagined vividly and what is real. When you see yourself living in wealth, when you feel the keys in your hand, the breeze on your skin as you step onto the balcony of your dream home, the joy of seeing your bank account overflow, your subconscious accepts it as fact. And once accepted, it begins the quiet, invisible work of aligning circumstances, nudging opportunities, attracting people, and dissolving blocks. The reason most never become wealthy is not because they lack opportunity, but because they never truly see it for themselves. They imagine more struggle than success, more doubt than certainty. They allow logic to silence the language of spirit. But you are not bound to the scene. You are not trapped by current conditions. You are the architect, and imagination is your pencil. To imagine vividly is to possess. To feel it as real is to claim it. Do not underestimate this power. The world is not moved by effort alone. It is moved by belief, and belief begins in the unseen. The moment you say, I am wealthy, your current bank account may argue. The outer world may present its limitations, but you must not surrender to appearances. Appearances are echoes of old thinking, old assumptions. You are now planting a new image. Let it grow. Visit your vision often, not with desperation, but with certainty. Feel the joy of the wealth you have imagined. Spend time there. Live from it. When you rise in the morning, imagine your day as the millionaire you are. When you walk, carry the posture of one who owns, not one who begs. Speak as one who has already arrived. You will be tempted to look for signs, for confirmation. But the confirmation is the feeling. That inner knowing is the seed. Trust it. Water it daily with focus and gratitude. Let the world catch up. Everything you desire already exists, but it must first be received within before it can appear without. You do not force reality, you impress it. And imagination is the tool. Hold the image, feel the reality, and refuse to waver. This is not about fantasy. It is about remembering your creative power. You are not imagining to escape life. You are imagining to design it. And once you accept that your inner vision is the beginning of your outer riches, you will stop waiting for the world to change and start creating the one you were always meant to live. Stop trying to become rich. Stop reaching, striving, and hoping for a future that always seems just beyond your grasp. The more you chase it, the more it escapes you. Why? Because you are still moving toward the goal instead of living from the state. There is a profound difference between the two. When you live towards something, you affirm that it is not here, you separate yourself from it. But when you live from it, you declare that it is already yours. True wealth does not begin in your wallet. It begins in your awareness. It begins in your assumption. To be rich in mind is to claim your place now, not later. You must embody the version of yourself who already has the wealth, who no longer doubts, who no longer questions if or when, but simply lives in the fullness of the answered prayer. This is not pretending, this is aligning, this is shifting your identity. You are not playing make-believe, you are returning to your natural state. Wealth is not something you acquire, it is something you remember. And when you remember, you begin to express it in every detail of your life. Think like the wealthy you. What thoughts would occupy your mind if you knew everything was already taken care of? You would not dwell on fear, you would not worry about lack. You would make decisions from confidence, not hesitation. So, do that now. Walk like the wealthy you. How would you carry yourself if you lived in total financial freedom? You wouldn't slump or rush. You would walk with presence, with calm assurance. Practice that posture. Dress like the wealthy you. Not in extravagance, but in dignity. Wealth is not loud, it is composed. Choose clothes that make you feel elevated, even if they are simple. This is not about price, it's about energy. Speak like the wealthy you. Eliminate the language of desperation from your mouth. Stop talking about how expensive everything is, how hard money is to earn, how far your dreams feel. Speak only as one who already possesses. Let your words declare your wealth even before the world sees it. And most importantly, expect like the wealthy you. You must expect your reality to bend, not because you are forcing it, but because it has no other choice. Reality is obedient to your dominant inner state. When you live as if, consistently and boldly, the world rearranges itself to meet your assumption. This is the secret. The goal is not to get rich, it is to be rich. And once you are rich in consciousness, the outer riches must follow. They are merely reflections of who you've chosen to be. So stop waiting, stop preparing, begin. Begin now, not tomorrow. Adopt the state, live from it, and remain loyal to it, even when the outside world offers no confirmation. It will, but only after you've refused to move. Your world must conform because consciousness creates reality. And when you live from the state of wealth, the world cannot help but mirror back to you the riches you've already claimed within. There is no need to chase money. The moment you chase something, you declare with your energy that it is separate from you, that it's distant, elusive, and not yet yours. But the great paradox is this: the moment you stop chasing and instead assume the feeling of already having it, the very thing you once pursued begins to pursue you. You don't need to plead with the universe, it is not deaf. It has already heard you. Your desires were never ignored. They were planted like seeds the moment you imagined them. but begging, hoping, and doubting only keep them buried. What brings them to life is a simple, quiet, powerful shift, assuming the state of the wish fulfilled. Feel now what it would feel like to have it, not to want it, not to be on your way to it, but to already possess it. What would your mornings feel like if you were a millionaire? What emotions would fill your chest? Would there be relief, peace, joy, confidence? Would you breathe more deeply, sleep more easily? That's the doorway. That's the state. Step into it, not someday, but now. To assume the feeling is not to pretend or to fake it, it is to embody it. It is to accept with quiet conviction that your desire is real and fulfilled in the unseen. The world may not yet show the evidence, but within, it is done. And that inner reality will, without fail, shape the outer world to match. Most people sabotage their manifestations because they feel one thing and affirm another. They speak of wealth but feel fear. They visualize millions but embody doubt. The universe doesn't respond to words. It responds to the emotional signature behind them. Your job is to create that emotional signature now. To live in the atmosphere of your fulfilled desire. This is why you must rest in certainty, not the frantic certainty of forcing outcomes, but the calm certainty of knowing that what you seek is already yours. It's already assigned to you. You do not need to manipulate time, people, or circumstances. You only need to remain loyal to the feeling of already having it. Close your eyes and feel the wealth. Feel the luxury, the freedom, the joy, not because you are trying to get it, but because this is who you are now. You are no longer becoming, you have become. That is the frequency that attracts. That is the energy that reshapes your world without effort. You will find that money, opportunities, connections, and ideas begin to flow with ease, not because you chase them, but because they recognize you. They are drawn to the vibration of fulfillment. They are magnetized by your inner wealth. So be still, let go of striving, let go of proving, assume the feeling of already having it, and do not step out of that state. Let your every action, thought, and word flow from that place. Because once you are it in consciousness, it must be reflected in reality. This is not magic, it is law. And when you trust the law, you no longer need to chase. You simply allow what's already yours to arrive. Look around you. Everything you see, touch, experience, it is not the cause of your inner state. It is the effect. Your outer reality is simply echoing your inner self. It is not the world that shapes you, but you who shapes the world through your self-concept. You are not a passive observer of life. You are the projector. And life is the screen reflecting the film playing in your mind. If you feel poor inside, if you identify with lack, with unworthiness, with fear, then no amount of effort will override that inner broadcast. You may try to earn more, work harder, or network wider, but if your internal dialogue still whispers, "I'm not enough," or "it's hard to receive," the world must reflect that story. It cannot do otherwise. But here's the miracle. The moment you shift your self-concept, the moment you see yourself differently and feel yourself differently, reality begins to rearrange itself. It is not slow. It is not distant. The change begins immediately, not always in visible form, but in structure, in energy, in alignment. The universe bends to identity. You are not required to fight circumstances. You are only required to reimagine yourself, not just with words, but with feeling. Identity is not an affirmation, It is a state. And the state you occupy determines the world you experience. You must ask yourself, who am I being right now? Am I being someone who has or someone who lacks? Someone who expects goodness or someone who braces for disappointment? The mirror of life can only reflect what you assume to be true about yourself. This is not punishment, it's law. And once you understand it, you are no longer a victim of what is. You become the author of what's to come. To change your life, you must change your conception of yourself. If you want wealth, you must stop thinking like someone trying to get rich and start being someone who already is. The rich don't ask for permission to be comfortable. They don't shrink from opportunity. They don't wait for validation. And when you take on that energy, that self-image, your external conditions have no choice but to align. It doesn't matter what your bank account says today. What matters is what your inner account holds. Fill that with the feeling of abundance. Let your thoughts, decisions, and reactions come from the version of you who knows they are already blessed. You will find the outer world responding differently. Doors will open, ideas will appear, people will approach, not because you chase them, but because your new identity called them in. You are never stuck. You are never trapped by circumstances. You are only ever experiencing the results of who you're being internally. Redefine that, and you redefine everything. So if you want to change your life, don't look outside, look within. Speak to yourself as the wealthy, loved, confident, powerful being you truly are. Live in that state, feel it in your bones, claim it with certainty, and reality, as it always does, will echo it back. Faith is not hoping, faith is not wishing, faith is loyalty, unyielding, unshakable loyalty to the unseen reality you have chosen to believe in. It is the inner knowing that what you have imagined, felt, and claimed within will one day stand before you in physical form. But until that day comes, you must hold your ground. You must remain steadfast, because the real test is not whether you can believe once you see it, but whether you can see it within before the world gives you any proof. The mind conditioned by the world demands evidence first. Money in the bank, signs in the sky, people telling you it's possible. But the truth is, wealth appears only after you've believed in it internally. That belief, that faith, is the seed. And like any seed, it must be protected during its silent, invisible phase of growth. Keep your inner conviction alive even when your current circumstances scream the opposite. Even when you are surrounded by lack, bills, or uncertainty, do not abandon the vision. Because it is during that silence, that emptiness, that the new reality is forming. It is being shaped by your persistence in belief, your refusal to collapse under the weight of what currently is. This is what separates those who manifest effortlessly from those who struggle for years. The ones who manifest do not need physical confirmation to believe. They already know who they are and what belongs to them. They rest in that knowing. They don't panic when things appear to go wrong, because they understand a deeper law, first consciousness, then confirmation. If you wish to live in wealth, in abundance, in freedom, you must become loyal to that version of yourself in consciousness before it ever materializes. You must speak as that version, think as that version, react as that version, even when the world offers no applause, no reward, and no validation. That is faith. And make no mistake, faith is not passive. It is active, intentional, and deeply powerful. Faith holds the line. It says, "Though I walk through the valley, I will not fear, for I know what I carry within." The outer world may delay, but it cannot deny a persistent inner reality. So do not be discouraged when you see nothing. That silence is not a failure. It is a sign that your faith is being refined. Stay loyal to the unseen. Continue to water your inner vision with gratitude, confidence, and expectancy. Let your inner world become so vivid, so alive, that it becomes more real to you than anything outside of you. Eventually, reality must yield, it must conform, not because you forced it, but because you remained faithful. You didn't shift with the winds. You stood in the unseen long enough for the seen to catch up. So remember this: you do not need to see it to believe it. You must believe it to see it. And when you do, when your loyalty to the unseen becomes stronger than your fear of the unknown, wealth will appear not as a surprise, but as the natural outpouring of a truth you never stopped believing. You were never meant to struggle your way into wealth. You are meant to remember it. Wealth is not something you chase. It is something you awaken within. When you live as the millionaire you're destined to be, you no longer act from lack or desperation. You think, walk, and speak from a place of inner certainty. You stop striving toward the goal and begin living from the state of fulfillment. By assuming the feeling of already having it, by imagining vividly, and by staying loyal to the unseen reality, you command the world to respond. Not through effort, but through embodiment. Your reality is a mirror. When you change your inner self, the world must follow. So stop waiting. Don't ask for permission. Step into the identity of the one who already has. And when you do, life will rise to meet the power you've chosen to embody. Saying thanks. Thank you for listening with an open heart. May you walk in the fullness of your power, claim the wealth that is already yours, and live boldly from the truth that you are never lacking, only remembering. Your life is about to change forever. Prepare for overflow. Close your eyes for a moment, not to escape, but to remember. The world you see outside is but the echo of your inner conviction. If you've been waiting for signs, for doors to open, for opportunities to arrive, the wait ends now. Because the truth is, your life is not changing, it has already changed the moment you felt it within. Overflow isn't something you chase, it is something you align with. You don't become wealthy when the money shows up. You become wealthy when your spirit refuses to feel lack, when your mind no longer entertains limits, when you walk into the room knowing that you are the prize, not in arrogance but in deep spiritual recognition. The river of overflow is not found in your bank account but in your belief system. When you assume the reality of abundance, the world must comply. You are the author of your state. The script follows your self-concept. And so, the chaos you may feel, the collapse of relationships, the sudden ending of routines, that's not your life falling apart. That's your former identity breaking down. The universe is clearing out what can no longer hold the weight of your coming greatness. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Prepared for overflow. Prepared for favor, prepared for a life so full it will not make sense to the person you used to be. So walk today, not by sight, but by the inner knowing that your destiny is not in front of you, it is within you. Feel the shift. Speak the truth of it. Act as if it's already done. You are never waiting for the overflow. The overflow was waiting for you to become the vessel big enough to hold it. Now you are. Your life doesn't shift because circumstances change. Circumstances change because you did. The new life you desire begins the moment you assume it is already yours. In consciousness. Everything you experience in the outer world is an echo of your inner belief. The world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. And this truth, when fully accepted, becomes the foundation for total transformation. It is not action, luck, or external force that reshapes your life. It is the unseen act of assumption, the quiet decision to occupy the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that sets your world ablaze with change. Most people wait for a sign to believe, a result to feel secure, a door to open to feel chosen. But this is the reverse of the creative process. Life mirrors you. It does not lead you. It reflects the image you hold of yourself in the secret chamber of your imagination. The person who believes they are unloved, unsuccessful, or stuck will continuously find the world offering them proof of that belief. But the moment that same person dares to assume a new identity, to feel chosen, to feel prosperous, to feel worthy, the script begins to rewrite itself. You must not wait for evidence. You are the evidence. Your inner ascension is the cause. The outer condition is merely the delayed effect. When you truly change the conception of yourself, all things in your reality begin to bend to that new image. No force on earth can prevent the appearance of that which you already claim as yours in consciousness. If you are still looking outward to see if it is working, you are missing the point. The power is not in watching. The power is in being. The person who assumes wealth doesn't check their bank account every hour to confirm it. They walk in the mental atmosphere of abundance. They think abundantly. They dress, speak, and expect as if the wealth has already arrived. And because their inner state has changed, their outer world must reflect it. This is not about pretending, it is not delusion, it is alignment. It is spiritual authority. It is choosing to live from the end, not toward it. The moment you feel yourself to be the version of you that already possesses the desire, the work is done. The invisible shift has occurred, and everything visible must now rearrange itself to match it. So stop asking how it will come or when. That is not your concern. Your only task is to be it, to embody it, to remain loyal to the unseen image that lives within you. The world will respond, the people will show up, the opportunities will arrive, not because you chased them. Circumstances are powerless unless you give them meaning. But your assumptions, they are the seed of all things. Plant them wisely, nourish them daily, and watch as the world reflects the garden you've grown inside. Change your assumption and you will change your world forever. Overflow is not money, fame, or success arriving first. It is the inner flood of conviction that nothing is missing. When you feel full, life mirrors that fullness in ways you cannot imagine. We are often taught that abundance is something to chase, that it lives somewhere out there, tied to numbers, titles, or recognition. But true overflow is not the accumulation of material things. It is the vibration of wholeness that begins inside you. It is not something you acquire. It is something you remember. The world around you can only echo what you believe yourself to be. If you feel empty, you will walk into rooms and see rejection, scarcity, and delay. But if you feel full of gratitude, of faith, of quiet knowing that all is already well, then life responds by offering more of what already lives inside you. Once you learn this, you will learn. This is why some people attract blessings effortlessly, while others struggle despite hard work. The difference is not effort, it's embodiment. It's the inner reality they have made more real than what their five senses can currently perceive. When you overflow internally, life bends to reflect that abundance. You must realize you are not waiting for overflow. You are delaying it every time you believe it is not yet yours. The moment you stop searching and start feeling it, you call it forth. It cannot be withheld from one who walks in the energy of sufficiency. The door doesn't open because you knock harder. It opens because you know you belong on the other side. People think overflow means excess, but spiritually, overflow is the complete absence of lack. It is not how much you have, but how little you need to prove your worth. It is the unwavering belief that you are safe, loved, guided, and chosen, regardless of what the world appears to say. From that state, you become magnetic. Your energy speaks before your words. Your calm becomes a command. Your peace becomes power. So stop saying, I'll feel abundant when the money comes. Say instead, the money comes because I already feel abundant. This reversal is the secret. You are the signal. The universe is the echo. You set the tone, and life follows. You are not here to beg for overflow. You are here to expect it, to live in such harmony with it that it has no choice but to manifest. The only thing that has ever separated you from what you desire is the belief that it was ever outside you to begin with. So go within. Feel the fullness. Dwell in the unseen wealth of your being. Recognize that you lack nothing. Not love, not purpose, not destiny. All is present. All is complete. All is available now. And from this inner flood of certainty, the outer world must mirror your truth. Overflow begins within. Anchor yourself there. The rest will follow. You will never rise above the image you hold of yourself. When you see yourself as blessed, abundant, favored, unstoppable, the law of life must arrange itself to reflect that identity. Everything in your life flows from one silent, powerful place, your self-concept. The image you hold of yourself, not what you say out loud, but what you believe in the quiet moments, is the mold through which life is poured. It is the root. All effects, all experiences, all conditions are simply branches growing from it. You do not get what you want. You get what you are, and what you are is determined by who you believe yourself to be. This belief is the law's only instruction. The law does not argue. It does not reason. It does not take sides. It simply reflects. Like a mirror, it gives you a perfect reproduction of the idea you have claimed as your truth. You have to claim it as a truth. If you see yourself as limited, stuck, small, or broken, life will bend to support that view. If you see yourself as abundant, powerful, and deeply worthy, life will rise to confirm it. Not because you forced it, but because your inner state leaves no other choice. The outer world must follow the inner one. That is the law. Many people change their actions, their habits, their routines, but never change the one thing that truly matters, their identity. They pray for miracles while secretly believing they are undeserving. They write affirmations with their mouth, but contradict them in their self-talk. The law does not respond to what you say once. It responds to what you are consistently. This is why the shift must be internal. You must decide who you are, and then persist in that decision. It will feel unnatural at first. Your old self-concept will scream for attention, will try to pull you back into familiar patterns of lack, fear, and doubt. But your job is not to fix the old. It is to embody the new, to become the version of you that already has it, already is it, already knows it's done. When you adopt the identity of someone who is favored by life, who walks in divine timing, who is always in the right place at the right time, everything begins to rearrange itself to match that vibration. People respond to you differently. Opportunities present themselves. Doors open, not because the world changed, but because you did. This is the quiet miracle of self-concept. The moment you see yourself differently, the world sees you differently too. So don't try to manipulate circumstances. Don't chase after results. Go deeper. Change the cause. Change you. Think, speak, walk, and breathe as if you are already the person you wish to become. See yourself as blessed, as abundant, as chosen, as unstoppable. Persist in that identity until the world cannot help but agree with you. That is how the law works. That is how change becomes permanent. You will never rise above the image you hold of yourself. So raise it and watch the world rise with you. Don't panic when things begin to fall apart. That is the crumbling of the former you. It is a holy unraveling, a divine undoing. The birth pains of a new world that is about to overwhelm you with good. We are taught to fear endings. We resist the collapse, the closing chapters, the silence that follows what once felt secure. But when you begin to shift internally, when you adopt a new self-concept, when you assume a higher identity, the life that was built around the old version of you can no longer remain. It must fall. It must dissolve. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. Everything that is not aligned with the new must leave. This includes people, places, patterns, and even opportunities that once felt like blessings. When things seem to be slipping away, don't reach for them in desperation. Understand that it is the law in motion. Realignment in progress. What you call chaos is really liberation. What you call chaos is divine order being restored. You prayed for a new reality. You imagined yourself abundant, loved, chosen, favored. But that version of you cannot exist within the old framework. The world you once knew is based on the assumptions and energy of who you used to be. Now that you've decided to rise, the scaffolding of your former life is collapsing. And it has to, because the new world that is coming cannot be built on the weak foundation of your past self. This is why the in-between feels so intense. It's the death of what was and the labor of what is being born. It's uncomfortable. It's confusing. But it's sacred. Don't try to stop the unraveling. Don't tape together what was meant to break. Let it go. The version of you that clings to familiarity cannot hold the abundance meant for the version of you that trusts the process. When the job ends, the relationship shifts, the door closes. Pause. Don't panic. Ask yourself, who am I becoming? What is life clearing space for? Because something is coming. It always does. Nature abhors a vacuum. When the old leaves, the new must enter. But it only enters for the one who is not afraid to let go. You are not being abandoned. You are being upgraded. The universe doesn't destroy, it rebuilds. But it must tear down what cannot carry the weight of the future you've chosen. And though the dismantling feels like darkness, it is actually light in disguise. It is divine love, doing for you what you cannot do for yourself. You asked for more. This is what more looks like before it becomes visible. So hold still. Breathe. Trust. This is not your ending. This is your rebirth. The old must collapse to make way for the new. Let it. You are not asked to hope for change, you are asked to embody the change. Walk, talk, and think from the place of already having it, and the physical will bow to the spirit. Faith is not wishful thinking. It is not sitting quietly and hoping something shifts. Faith is bold. It is daring. It is assuming the reality of what the world has not yet confirmed. Faith is living from the invisible with such certainty that the visible has no choice but to catch up. You are not being tested to see how long you can wait. You are being invited to become the version of you that already has what you desire. That version does not beg, does not plead, and does not worry. That version knows. It carries a calm, inner confidence that the seed planted in spirit must produce fruit in form. When you live by faith, you reverse the world's rules. The world says, I'll believe it when I see it. But the truth is, you will see it when you believe it. Your assumption creates your experience, not the other way around. So many delay their blessings because they are still asking when or how. But the law does not respond to timelines or logic. It responds to identity. It responds to the one who decides, I am already what I seek. That decision, held long enough, bends reality. Faith is not passive. It is a posture. It is the invisible agreement you make with the unseen that says, I trust the process more than the appearance. I trust the vibration more than the facts. I trust the end result more than the present delay. You are not required to force anything. You are required to become it. If you want love, you must live as if you are already deeply loved. If you want wealth, you must embody the version of yourself who feels wealthy, generous, confident, secure. If you want healing, you must carry yourself as whole, restored, vibrant. The outer world follows the inner reality, never the other way around. To embody the change is to commit to it before anyone applauds you, before any evidence shows up, before anything makes sense. It is to walk into a room as the person who already has the answered prayer. Not because you're pretending, but because you know the spiritual is more real than the temporary illusion of lack. The greatest faith is not shouting or begging or striving. It is quiet inner knowing. It is silent conviction. It is the walk that says, I have already received, while the world still sees nothing. That kind of faith moves mountains. That kind of faith calls things forth from the unseen realm into the physical world. That kind of faith rewrites futures. So stop waiting, stop wondering, begin walking. Begin thinking and acting as the one who already has it. Your job is not to make it happen. Your job is to become the proof before the manifestation. The physical will bow to the spiritual. Because faith is the evidence before the manifestation ever arrives. You are not a victim of life. You are the initiator of it. Prepare for overflow by becoming the person who lives in it now. Life will echo your decision with abundance. There is a moment in every journey when you must stop pointing to the outside and start claiming the power within. That moment is now. The world you see is not something happening to you, it is responding to you. It takes its shape based on the mold of your assumptions, your self-concept, your decisions. You are not here to wait and react. You are here to create. Too many live as if life is a series of accidents and events they must survive. But you were never meant to survive life, you were meant to design it. The moment you realize that you are the cause, not the effect, everything changes. Your language changes, your posture changes, your expectations change. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin asking, what in me is ready to shift so that my life reflects the truth of who I am. Overflow does not chase people. It is drawn to those who expect it, those who embody the feeling of fullness before it arrives. You cannot beg for abundance while believing yourself to be empty. You must decide you are full. You must walk, speak, think, and live as someone who carries the vibration of overflow long before it becomes visible. Your inner world is the command center of your reality. What you accept as true about yourself will echo into your relationships, your finances, your health, your surroundings. If you see yourself as lacking, unworthy, or unlucky, the law of life will support that image. But if you decide, I am chosen, I am favored, I am provided for, then all things begin to organize around that decision. That's not ego. That's alignment with spiritual truth. It is not arrogance to believe you are powerful. It is actually humility to understand that the divine works through you, and you are here to be a conscious participant in your own becoming. You are the vessel through which life flows. The faucet doesn't beg for water, it simply opens. Likewise, you don't need to strive for overflow. You need to become open to it. This begins now, right where you are. You don't need to wait until the conditions are perfect, or the bank account is full, or the applause arrives. Life is not waiting on anyone or anything but you. The moment you choose to embody the state of abundance, overflow must begin to flow into your world. You are the cause, you always have been. So stop rehearsing the story of being a victim. Stop looking backward. Stop blaming others or circumstances. Nothing outside of you has more power than what's inside of you. You are the initiator. You are the doorway. You are the spark. Live today as the person who already walks in overflow, and life will echo your decision with clarity and certainty, because the law of life responds not to your hopes, not to your fears, but to your assumption. You are not waiting for life to change. Life is waiting for you to take your rightful place as the cause. Your life is no longer waiting to change, it is already in motion. The seeds have been planted in your consciousness, and overflow is not a distant dream but a present truth, unfolding from within. You now understand. The world doesn't transform first, you do. And once you rise in self-concept, in faith, in inner fullness, life has no choice but to rise with you. The breaking apart was not your end, it was your rebirth. You are no longer a victim of your past, but the cause of your future. The law responds to the person you believe you are, not the one you used to be. So carry yourself like it's already done. Walk like you are already blessed. Think from the overflow, feel it before you see it, and soon you'll see it everywhere. Prepare yourself, not by waiting, but by becoming. Because your life is about to change forever. And this time, it's not luck, it's alignment. Sincerely thank you for choosing to listen, for choosing to awaken, and most importantly, for choosing yourself.